Keeping up with a competitive landscape is starting to feel like a second job for me. I don't know about you.
Oh, 100%.
And I quote, having my compete one pager open on my desktop is not enough. And we laugh because we see these one pages, we call them battle cards. And yes, there are a lot, and you got to squint to see all the lines, right? Put it very scientifically, customers' environments can sometimes be half Frankenstein and half Wild West.
Oh,
right.
That's a great analogy.
Right? Thank you. Just came up with it. Welcome to Fix My Workflow, where we take real sales problems from viewers like you and work through them like we would on a real desk. I'm your host, Mateo Valdez, and I'm an account executive at Microsoft. Today, I have the honor of speaking with Christophe Pereira, an account director here at Microsoft. Chris leverages his strong business and technology acumen to lead Microsoft's relationship with large enterprise retail customers. Chris, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited.
I'm super pumped. And Chris, let me tell you, there is nowhere else I'd rather be right now in this moment than at this table in this podcast room with you talking about AI and sales. So thanks for being here.
I'm ecstatic. Thanks.
Absolutely.
That's a lot of pressure.
Absolutely. Well, it's going to be a great episode. And let's dive right into it if you don't mind.
Yeah, let's go.
So keeping up with a competitive landscape is starting to feel like a second job for me. I don't know about you.
Oh, 100%.
And if you relate to that notion, if you're watching this episode, then this episode is for you.
Yeah.
And it's because customers nowadays, especially in the tech space, they have a multi-solution environment.
Yeah.
Meaning they have so many products from so many different people. Anyway, you'll dive more into this, I'm sure. But in this new era of AI, how do you navigate the knowledge needed to know what customers have now and how we can fit in to provide value?
Yeah. That's a great question, and it was hard before AI, and now it's just even harder. Like every day or every week, there's something new that you just have to get your head around. Mm-hmm. And so, we're lucky here at Microsoft. Microsoft, in sales, like they tell you use the tech so you can like really relate to it and talk to your customers. It's more personal and it resonates better with them. And Microsoft, everything works swimmingly for us. Like, it's all Microsoft, it's all connected.
Right.
But in our customers' world, it's not the case. And what you find is that, they've got Microsoft, they've got other competitors, they got, business specific applications, and they've put it all together. And so when we come into their ecosystem with, hey, there's this wonderful AI technology that's going to revolutionize how you work, and it's going to reason over all your data and make you super productive. They go, well, that's great with your Microsoft, but if my world, like, how?
To put it very scientifically, customers' environments can sometimes be half Frankenstein and half Wild West.
Oh,
right.
That's a great analogy.
Right. Thank you. Just came up with it. But, there's many sellers that are listening, to this episode. Yeah. And one of them had a question that's a statement that was very similar to what we're talking about, which is, and I quote, having my compete one pager open on my desktop is not enough. And we laugh because we see these one pages, we call them battle cards. And yes, there are a lot, and you got to squint to see all the lines, right? And I'm struggling to keep up with the evolving landscape. It's challenging to be an expert, not only on our own products, because we at Microsoft have a lot of them especially, but also those of our competitors. I want to sound credible and insightful, not like I'm repeating surface level talking points. But I don't have hours each week to study and go deeper. Well, that's the art right there of you only have so much time in a day. How do you study new things, both at your company and the landscape, while trying to sell at the same time, right? So with all that said, Christophe, please help us fix this workflow.
Oh, I'll do my best. I also chuckled when you said that, reading the PowerPoint slides, Microsoft and PowerPoint slides with like 0.5 font. But that's a challenge we all face today. And one of the things, and not to put too much of a fine point on it, is that it's not good enough to know who your competitor is. You really got to understand what's their unique value proposition to the customer. Mm-hmm. And like you could say, that's sales 101. Like you don't know what you sell and what your customer sells, or not your customer, your competitor sells. And then how are they different? But I feel as though the way it is right now, it's not just good enough to know what's different and like what the nuts and bolts are, but you really got to understand the platform and the integration challenges that your customer's going to have and how you help them navigate them. Like, I think too long we kind of leave it to our customers to figure it out because we don't really have that deep knowledge or expertise to help them bridge that gap. But now with AI, we have that capability. And I'll share with you how I do it and a bit of context, right? So I work in enterprise. I come across large other enterprise tech companies all the time. I want to be relevant to my customer. I want them to increase their spend with Microsoft. I want them to consolidate on my platform. And so I need to know not just what Microsoft does and my responsibilities across all Microsoft products and solutions, but also how my competitors turn up and what's their value proposition. But same challenges exist, right? I have only so many hours in a day. I have to work, sleep, definitely want to socialize with my friends, spend time with my family. And so you kind of go, well, how do I ramp up this learning?
Right.
Both from knowing what I can do from my company's perspective, but what my competitors do. And so now with AI and Copilot, I have a personalized compete coach in my back pocket. I got a PhD student in my back pocket. Let me give you an example, right? So first things first, what I do is I go to Copilot if I'm going to speak to a customer and I have a particular opportunity I want to work with them on. And I ask Copilot and Researcher is an agent that we have.
So that's like the PhD student you mentioned.
Like the PhD student.
It's super smart Copilot that takes longer to kind of get an answer, but it does a more complete one.
100%. Okay. I put a prompt in there and I say, hey, this is the scenario. Go and find out like how Microsoft stacks against our competitors, and just don't look at blogs. I want you to look at like analyst papers and research.
Right.
And I send it on its way. And it probably takes like good 5 minutes, 10 minutes, maybe max if it's like really a lot. And it comes back with this like 30-page document.
Wow.
And that again is far too long.
Like, it's a lot of pages.
It's great. I got 30 pages to read in my like finite day. And so then I think about like, well, how do I kind of engage with this more? Because for me, reading is not how I learn. How I learn is in dialogues and conversations. And so what I do then is take that and I kind of start chatting to Copilot about it. I'm like, hey, Copilot, here's this reference file. It could be this Word document that I've converted from the research. It could be some internal PowerPoint files that we have about our own tech stack. I give it information about my customer and I'm like, I'm going to go talk to my customer about this. Help me understand how Microsoft turns up. Help me understand where we're good, where we're, on par and where we're behind. And help me think through a talk track that I could help my customer understand, like, yes, we could be amazing here and that's great for you. Wow. Okay, we're short here, but like, this is why it's less of an importance for you because you get all this additional benefit. And so now I have this like one research student that's done this amazing background work.
I've got full workflow.
I've got this like the sales coach behind me helping me think through like how I position it. I've got this engineer behind me explaining what all the nuts and bolts mean.
Right.
And so now I take all that context, and I've probably done this in like half an hour now, and I have my conversation with a customer and I laugh about the cheat sheet, right? Let me give you another story about the cheat sheet. Right. And so with the cheat sheet, like say I'm on a Teams call and I'm talking to my customer, and because customers are sometimes mostly technical, we speak to, say something to me, and I'm like, oh my, like I just nod, like the classic, like you're nodding, but in your mind you're going,
what did you say?
Yeah, what does that even mean? And so, and I use my Copilot on the side, right? I just ask it a real quick question. I'm like, hey, like, what does this even mean? And it comes back with an answer. I'm like, all right, like, now help me understand like how I position this with Microsoft. Right. And now I've got this like real-time coach with me, helping me through it. And so, if you're new to your workforce, that's a great tool to use to learn and grow. Even if you're like, you've been here a while at Microsoft, like I have, there's so much to learn what's new. You just use it to learn.
And so much that's changing. There's new things every day. Yeah,
exactly. And so that's a little bit how I would, for this particular person that sent the question through, think about moving away from the one pager, the A4 piece of paper or the PowerPoint on your desktop, and think about engaging with AI in a manner that helps you learn, helps you be relevant to your customer, and then helps you just, generally as a salesperson, think about the value that you could add and the opportunities within your own business and customers.
And, something I want to dive deeper on of what you said was, for me, I'm a business major, but it was more like sales, marketing, entrepreneurship, not really technical in the financial sense or the IT sense, right? So sometimes when we get into these conversations of a customer's current ecosystem, both technically and in terms of budget and everything, and also the competitive landscape and what everyone is offering, what the differentiators really are, it can get really overwhelming. So to the point where like I need to desperately learn these things. But I'm also too embarrassed to go to a technical expert, human expert to teach it to me, right? But have Copilot.
And what's more frustrating for your own team that you work at, because none of us work in silos, is like you speak to a customer, they tell you all this stuff, and you go back to your team and they're like, well, what did they use for this? Or did you ask them this? Or
Exactly.
And then you just sit there and you go, I guess I need to have another phone call with my customer.
Oh my
right?
gosh.
And so it's just a great tool to learn, not just about like what your own products do, but also learn about like the environment you operate within. And so that's a little bit of how I would solve that workflow.
I love it. Consider the workflow fixed.
Okay, that's great.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Chris. You said a lot of very valuable things, so let's recap it.
Yep.
Number one, you can't rely on any cheat sheets to talk about competitors. You need to understand their overall business and value proposition. But like we talked about, that's a lot of information to digest and understand. So how do you do that quickly? You use Copilot prompts to quickly get up to speed on your competitive landscape. So you compare all of your competitors and their options against yours in a very kind of clear and insightful way, and then strongly connect your company's solutions to your customers' goals, challenges, priorities, situation, what have you. So thank you, Chris, so much for being here today. This was so educational and fun. But most importantly, thank you for helping us fix that workflow. Okay, don't leave yet, Chris, because we have one more final segment. Yep. And that segment is CTRL+ALT+Delight, our pop quiz break for 100 points. I repeat, 100, that's a lot of points. And the game, in artificial intelligence, what does NLP stand for? Is it A, Network Link Protocol? Is it B, Natural Language Processing? Lots of big words so far.
Yep.
Is it C, Neural Logic Pathway? Or D, New Learning Program? Before we go to Copilot, Chris, what do you think?
Well, this has been about learning new things with leveraging AI. So I think it's D, safe answer, new learning program.
I definitely support the logic of that. Although I have to say, the one that said protocol in it, I mean, the word protocol sounds pretty advanced and techy, and we're tech guys after all, right? So
I like that logic too.
I would say it's definitely the protocol one then. Pretty certain about it, but we might as well ask Copilot because we have to.
Safe thing to do, probably.
Okay, well, it's actually B, natural language processing. So we were both very much incorrect, but we're here to learn, just like everyone here. So hope you all learned, and thank you so much for playing, everyone. And thanks so much for watching this episode of Fix My Workflow. See you next time.